What I want to talk about today is Spontaneous Kundalini Awakenings and what has been termed in the spiritual arena as the event. So if you're interested in this, watch this video. A lot of people that I'm finding on my channel, which by the way is amazing that I'm finding you guys finally, because I've been alone for so long, and I'm sure you have too, have had Kundalini awakenings. Now obviously we're at a time where, excuse me, that's my phone, we're at a time right now where Kundalini is still not accepted as normal. It is also not understood at all by people. And people that have these Kundalini awakenings, these spontaneous Kundalini awakenings, may not have a concept of what yoga is or what spiritual life is even before the Kundalini. It just happens, and in a moment you change, literally, almost like a walk-in. Like from one moment the old you dies and instantly you are this totally new human being. And there's no reference point for who that old human being was either. Even sometimes your memory will go. You remember every detail of the past, but it's like it was a different life. Like literally thousands of lifetimes ago. Because you now don't even draw from that past experience in there now, because you've changed so much in 1 second. And these spontaneous Kundalini awakenings, like I was saying on my channel, I'm meeting people now, and I never did before, that are in the same boat, and this stuff is popping off on scale. And what I want to talk about today is the event and how this is affecting the collective unconscious. Because I am now creating this channel with a spiritual toolkit and speaking about these things because they're normal for me. And a lot of other people are getting ready to start speaking about these things as well, because the collective unconscious is changing. And this really excites me because we talk about the event. I can't even speak. I believe it started in the quantum healing hypnosis technique or therapy, or however you call it, field, in which people are hypnotized and sent to sleep or whatever. You're still aware though. And the being that is brought through starts talking about the event in so many different cases. So something's coming, we know something's coming, but its name's been titled the event. And I feel like perhaps it will not happen as an event. Admittedly, my event happened in 2015, and other people's events that I'm meeting on my channel now are happening 5 months ago, 1 month ago, 3 months ago, and this was never happening before, but it's now beginning to happen en masse. Now we know that our events are separated by time. So my event may well be before your event, and your event may be before somebody else's event that we're yet to meet on this channel yet. And obviously time's an illusion and it's all happening now, but we're not going to get into that. Just we can speak like this in a linear perspective. So we know from our own experience that this name, the event, will not be a collective event that I can't imagine. I don't know, because I can't speak for life. I don't know the plan here, but I feel like we shouldn't be taking the idea so far in the sense that it will just be one event and the whole world will wake up, the whole world's Kundalini will explode, and they will jump into a new state of being and forget who they were before and realise who they really are. I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think what will happen is we will continue to see spontaneous Kundalini awakenings in individuals. Now, if we can take it from this perspective, that this is happening a lot more frequently than when it was back when mine happened. This is just my perception of it, because I haven't met anyone that's had an experience like this until now, until I started this channel. And now, seemingly, it's becoming more of a common thing, which is exciting, especially for me, because I've spent my whole time alone. And now I'm meeting some other friends. This is just an open conversation to you, really, to other people that are going through this, and my thoughts around it. Because I've been craving this, I really have been craving this. And although somebody may not be replying to me directly, this is a healthy forum for me to be able to converse and give my perspective on what might happen. So if people are now Kundaliniing, they're having spontaneous Kundalini eruptions, I am beginning to get very excited as to what that's going to be doing to the collective unconscious. Now, the collective unconscious seems to be where our shadow selves are kept. And our shadow sides seem to be the most dirty, horrible sides of our collective unconscious that at times we claim personally to be mine, or this is my shadow side, when really it's the collective. And the more space we get that the Kundalini will give to us, the less we see that as ours. We can claim it as ours if you want, but it's going to make you do weird things that you naturally wouldn't do for a little bit of a burst of a high, or it might make you judge yourself unfairly because this collective stuff is never yours, but it's your responsibility to not claim ownership to it. I hope we can speak like this. I don't know if that's going to make sense, but it does to me. Anyway, this collective unconscious, the more light that is coming through because of these spontaneous Kundalini awakenings, where people's consciousness are completely changing in a second and you become more like the spirit you are rather than this dense body with thoughts and ego and you know. So this is beginning to change with these bursts of light in you guys that are coming through, and in myself and in others before me. And this shadow version of the collective unconscious is beginning to change as well, and this is exciting. Because people are becoming nicer and nicer and nicer and nicer. And if you're in the UK, you'll understand this through the best analogy that I can give, in the sense that I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, who's just been on the TV. And each year now there seems to be less and less drama in camp because people, the collective unconscious, is changing. There's less darkness in it because more people are coming through with these Kundalini awakenings and changing all of their darkness into light. And the more and more that happens, it doesn't even have to be, because light is so potent, it doesn't even have to be like a 50-50 split in population. But as our numbers, even though they're a lot smaller than the rest of the collective, our small little bit of light, I believe, is so potent that it's actually drawing the collective up, because light is always more powerful than dark. And the more and more this happens, the more and more this event, the event becomes likely. Now I really don't think that it will happen where everybody's Kundalini will pop. I don't believe that it's relevant for everybody's Kundalini to pop. I don't believe it's relevant for everybody to come out of the ignorance that they're in. Because if you can remember when you were back in ignorance, you were perfectly, like, ignorance is bliss, so we're perfectly happy in our slightly dissatisfied states. We don't even know that we're tolerating a dissatisfied state when we're in our ignorant versions of ourselves. So I don't know whether it will happen like, but as our collective unconscious changes, because of the more Kundalini awakenings, spontaneous Kundalini awakenings that are happening in people, and then the natural purification of their dark shadow selves that comes afterwards, is creating almost a tipping point in the collective unconscious. It must be. It absolutely must be. And we're seeing the effects of it and how people are becoming kinder. And if people aren't becoming kinder, then in your reality, then perhaps you need to have a look at what you're doing in your reality to be attracting these people. It's probably going to get a thumbs down for me saying that, but it's just the honest truth from my experience, from my life. So I'm excited to see where this goes, where the event takes us, how the event plays out, because I think it's going to be quite a gradual thing. Gradual. Especially for the large majority of people. Or the other option might be that there will become a split in the world, where there's people of light this side and people of unconscious this side. I don't want to call it dark or bad, because it's not that. It is what it is. We're not better, they're not worse. We're human. And in that sense, totally equal. We are one still. But I can't imagine that it'll ever be relevant, and it's becoming less and less relevant now as old friends drop away, for me to be involved in that world, and nor do I want to be. Which is kind of why this video is happening now, because I feel less, especially after the last couple of weeks that we've had, where the collective unconscious, especially in us, has been nuts. Like, you might have felt like you're being ripped out of the birth canal for the first time and being reborn into this life. Like, it's been nuts. Absolutely. I've had to spend like 3 days in bed, just lying down and just waiting for this denseness to settle. And finally it has, to some degree, and that's why I'm sharing today. So I'm excited to see how this all pans out. Because for me now, I'm less interested in this side of life, even though some of my old good friends are still in this side of life, and they judge probably this channel for like, this is weird, I don't understand it, and I get that for them. It makes total sense. They wouldn't understand the words that I'm speaking. I wouldn't have understood the words that I was speaking until my Kundalini awakened, and then in one moment going from that life to that life in a second. Didn't even know this life existed. But like I say, we're all waking up, and after the couple of weeks that we've just had, and the craziness and the new birthing of a new being in all of us, this Christ consciousness that we're coming into now, rather than this old, dense, horrible mess that we were, it's becoming more important to me to actually really share who I really am. I was judging myself so much, and this is what this last couple of weeks has been about, I think, and maybe you'll feel into this too. But the last couple of weeks has been so hard and so crazy, and now that that's sort of losing its grip, I'm here and I'm like, well, do you know what? I was only in that darkness just then because I was judging who I was becoming, but that's still akin to that life. And although the people that might judge me are from that life, I'm not interested in that anymore as more of my friends drop away. I'm really interested in finding more people like this, for sure. And the only way to do that is to be really me. Really, really, really me. So that the people that don't understand what I'm saying don't come into my life. It may well come up as a judgment in them. They're like, oh, that guy's weird, I don't want to be around him. And that's fine. Because I have this understanding and this power within me now that I don't want to spend time on that level anymore. I can't. Like, my energy can't go there anymore. And I'm now becoming more confident in who I am, and so are other people as well. Because I've been talking to a few of you. And it's becoming more noticeable now that really, even if it makes other people feel odd and strange, or makes other people feel uncomfortable or think that you're weird, it is now time to come into your true voice. Your throat chakra has been marinating. It's been between your throat and your mind. And your mind's been saying, oh no, don't go full spiritual on everyone. Don't really say what you're gonna what you feel, because people might not understand. You may end up with no friends. Well, I'm now saying, for me, and I'm hoping if this is relevant for you as well, I'm now saying, truly, from my heart, that I'd rather not have friends for a while and just speak my truth, because to not speak my truth is hurting me. This is my experience of life. All of this stuff is real. We are not the body at all. I cannot say that more, what's the word, fervently, strongly. And the collective unconscious is beginning to wake up to the idea of like the first stages of that maybe. Maybe meditation's coming into the mainstream now, but they're nowhere. They still perhaps are not in a space to understand the words that are coming out of my mouth or understand the experience that I speak from. But you guys are. So until you guys actually come out in real life, and actually I'm manifesting people like that, my soul tribe or galactic family in my real life, I'm going to keep, and perhaps push it further, speaking like an open conversation to you guys, to a camera. Might seem crazy, but my heart wants to speak in this way now. Because to not do that is to buy into the old I'm not good enough belief. And I am good enough. And so are you. And I found myself here in this position, quite happy. And I want to talk about that in the hope that sharing some of these technologies, some of these techniques will make other people happy too. But it starts with me. And I've now just got to speak up. I'm here for a reason, so are you. You've been put in this position for a reason, so have you. None of this is an accident. The experience that the experiences that you've had, the bliss that you're feeling within, it's no coincidence. It's a gift from God, and we should treat it that way. Or I don't even believe in God. I keep using that terminology, but I've got to be careful because some people don't ascribe to that. It's a gift from the universe. Or whatever you believe in, or don't believe in. Even if you're an atheist, really we can look at it, it's a gift from yourself. This bliss that we're feeling inside, but we've got to start talking about it now, because the collective unconscious seemingly is getting ready for the event. So, although I don't think it will be one big Kundalini pop-off and the world's amazing, because obviously after the Kundalini you have to purify and it's not amazing. If it does happen that way, then we are going to be needed. Because the world will get a little bit crazy if that does happen. But until that time, I'll keep having open conversations with you and see where on earth this leads. Spread the love, guys, in whatever way you can, in whatever way you want to. You don't even have to. If it's your time to go into a hermit phase within yourself, that's cool. You don't need to spread the love. And remember, if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything. Because sometimes silence can speak huge amounts. Spread the love. Peace out.